I was hoping I wouldn't have to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows again, but then I saw something so unbelievably pathetic, I can't help myself now. I feel like my hand's been forced. And the reason I haven't wanted to talk about Shadows too much is I just feel like every time the controversy gets brought up involving Yusuke, it just plays into Ubisoft's hands. More eyeballs are on the game, and then normies who don't really care one way or another about Yusuke, about the controversy, they're just gonna buy it. It's probably gonna sell gangbusters. I do think it's different with Shadows compared to, like, bringing up DEI stuff in Dragon Age the Veilguard, because Veilguard, it's all about the stories, the characters. That's meant to be the big selling point. So if that's crap, which it is in the Veilguard, because a lot of checkbox ticking, all the usual stuff we know, I think it's going to affect that game's sales pretty badly. But Assassin's Creed, no one cares that much about the story. It's just the fantasy of being a samurai. So I don't think, unfortunately, Shadows is going to suffer in sales because of the Yusuke stuff. So I'm trying to avoid talking about it. But seeing this, here we are on Reddit, and this is a post from a mod on the Assassin's Creed sub. Now, this is a pinned post. So if you wander onto the Assassin's Creed sub, which has upwards of 700k members, you have to see this post. It's there right in front of you. And this post reads, "There is no debate. Yusuke was a samurai. If you disagree, you can do that somewhere else." So again, not a random user. This is a Reddit mod who posted this, meaning the leaders of the sub, the people controlling discussion, they're saying Yusuke was a samurai. You must agree or you're gonna get banned, basically. And I know what most people are thinking, like, come on, Reddit, moderators of Reddit, like, how can you be surprised at this? Like, they're the most pathetic dweebs that exist probably anywhere in any walk of life. Like, these people, they love power, but they're totally incompetent people. No one in the real world would give them an ounce of power anywhere. Most of these people probably couldn't get a job even if they wanted one, so instead they spend their time controlling subreddits. I think I read somewhere that, like, the same moderators control 90% of the subs on here, something like that, and they're all in political agreement as well. Like, every decision they make, it's not sort of logical, like, how can we make the site or the community better? It's just, how can we push a certain worldview? Politics, 2024, how can we manipulate everyone to think like us? That's pretty much what the site is now. But the interesting thing about this post is the mods didn't even try and hide their bias. Sometimes they do. They pretend to be impartial, and it's a situation of they know that they're lying and we know they're lying, that whole saying and everything. But this time they've just gone full mask off and said, if you don't believe Yusuke was a samurai, you're the bad guy, you're evil, we're in the right. We don't even care about facts. We're not interested in listening to facts. Any opinion, if you bring that up, you're just going to be banned. Yusuke was a samurai, full stop. 2 + 2 = 5. That's literally it. And it's pretty telling because there was a very easy way that they could have met in the middle with this and looked like they weren't biased. They could have easily just said, hey, there's so much talk, so much debate about was this person a samurai or not. We don't want that to be discussed here because we just want the sub to be about the video games. Talk about the Assassin's Creed games, talk about the gameplay, other things about Shadows, for instance, that are coming out. Just don't talk about the samurai thing, please. They didn't even bother to do that. If they had have said that, I would have, whatever, I don't care about this, I'll move on. But just the audacity of that, like, if you don't agree, you can go somewhere else. You're just going to be banned if you don't think that Yusuke was a samurai. That's just weird. And if we read the actual post, with the reveal of Assassin's Creed Shadows, there has been an influx of certain individuals spilling into various communities online, such as this subreddit, and raising arguments about historical accuracy. Now, you can see what they're doing already. Rather than just say, fans of Assassin's Creed are disagreeing about Yusuke, instead it's individuals spilling in. And I'm seeing this a lot. It's coming up all of the time. Warhammer, other IPs, TV shows, and so on, where people will try and say, anyone criticizing this is a tourist. These are people, apparently, who hate DEI stuff. They don't care about Assassin's Creed or whatever the IP is. They just come in with no prior interest and try and shit on, in this case, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I find that extremely laughable because the whole reason that we have these problems in video games, for instance, the whole reasons video games, it feels like a mess. Like you look at Suicide Squad, the state of that with Mrs. Freeze, you've got Yusuke, all of these things, they happen because the people making them, they're actually the tourists. They're the people who don't have any prior interest in the hobby. You look at games journalism, for instance. You want to talk about spilling in, being a tourist. Almost everyone who writes about video games for Kotaku, IGN, or whatever it is, most of them, they couldn't give a fuck about video games. They come in there, they really want to write about politics, but because they were no good at it, no one wanted them. Oh, no, that they're stuck writing about video games because they've got blue or pink hair. They're welcomed with open arms because people just assume they're going to have the right opinions. They're going to fit in at a Kotaku Polygon or whatever. So they write their articles. They do not care about video games, and apparently they're the experts. But then if you or I have an opinion on Assassin's Creed Shadows, we're a tourist. We didn't really care about the IP. We've just come in here to talk about DEI stuff. Well, I can say for myself, I don't really praise Assassin's Creed these days. I don't care about Shadows. I used to enjoy the series, though. I thought that the second game, Assassin's Creed 2 with Ezio, it was a pretty innovative game for the time. It sort of brought those style of open worlds into the mainstream. Sure, there was Grand Theft Auto before, there's the Elder Scrolls Gothic who do open worlds, but that style of open world was very new for 2010 or whenever it was. Then, unfortunately, Ubisoft went down the copy and paste path. They lost all creativity, and it's hard to really respect them these days. But back then, I really liked Ubisoft, and I liked Assassin's Creed. So I followed the series to an extent. I think it's fallen off, but I would consider myself a fan. Apparently my opinion's not valid. I'm spilling in. And it continues here, as we are all exhausted at this tedious discussion that has been endlessly talked to death, not to mention exacerbated by a recent official statement from Ubisoft, we would like to give a final reminder to those participating in these debates as to what exactly this franchise entails and why there was never any point to these discussions to begin with outside of thinly veiling bad faith intent. No, you're exhausted by the discussion because people have come with facts disputing your bullshit. You're trying to say he's definitely a samurai, that's it. I think I saw a video that broke it down pretty well. It might have been by Internet Anarchist. And it was basically saying that the whole narrative, Yusuke is a samurai, it was started by one person. And apparently he only had that opinion when he was speaking to Western audiences. That's the only time he would say, yep, I'm certain Yusuke is a samurai. When this same person spoke to a Japanese audience, he was less sure and sort of said, oh, I'm not sure he was a samurai. So you're basing this whole thing, you're banning people from this community if they disagree with this guy being a samurai, and there's only one person without any real proof backing it up. It's blatantly obvious by now, you're not even really trying to hide it, that the only reason you have this opinion, that Yusuke was a samurai, this goes for most people, it is purely for ideological reasons. It lines up nicely for you that a black man was this great samurai, and you just can't even possibly accept that that may be wrong. That's why you jump straight to racist, every other accusation. You're not even willing to have a conversation about it. Assassin's Creed is historical fiction. This means that while certain locations, events, and figures may be based on reality, and can even have a slight focus on accuracy, their depictions are largely exaggerated for the sake of a more enjoyable video game. Now, this changing of the narrative has been doing the rounds a lot recently. Starting off with this controversy, it was, if you didn't think Yusuke was a real samurai, if you did not think that was historically accurate, you're a racist. It's as simple as that. Now they've changed things, and they've tried to say, no, Assassin's Creed was never about historical accuracy. It never was. It was fictional. So therefore, if you're even bringing this up, you're also a racist. I mean, Assassin's Creed, it's not real. So it seemed like starting out, even to look into or question that this black man might have been a samurai, that was just racist of itself. Like, why are you looking into this? Just accept it, because it feels right, it feels good, because it lines up with our political ideology. Once people did investigate, and it seemed pretty clear that he probably wasn't a samurai, and I'm not saying that for sure, I don't really care, honestly. I just know that True or not, whether he's a samurai or not, and he probably isn't, Ubisoft only put him in the game for those political reasons, possibly even to ignite this controversy to get eyeballs on the game. I don't really know. But regardless, once there was some evidence that he wasn't a samurai, these same people, they pretended that they never cared about the historical accuracy. They've said, oh no, it's just a video game, and therefore you caring about historical accuracy makes you a racist. And then this continues, this is okay, it is a video game. You are not meant to use Assassin's Creed as a source book for actual historical knowledge. It is meant to compel you to do your own external research after immersing you in a glimpse of authenticity. Now let's be real, Ubisoft for the last 10, 15 years do not care at all about that. Maybe during Assassin's Creed 1, 2, they actually cared about the historics, but now the only external research they care that their players do is going to their own online store, purchasing microtransactions. What's the deal of the day? But I find this so interesting because the whole argument, it's going round in circles with these people. Originally, people were asking for an Assassin's Creed game set in medieval Japan. You play as an Asian samurai. That seemed normal. That's what you do in every other Assassin's Creed. The main character is someone who just matches the setting, like an Italian person, Ezio, in Assassin's Creed 2. You would expect that. You would not be expecting to play as a black man in feudal Japan Assassin's Creed. But these people said you can't criticize that. It's racist because Yusuke really existed. That is the reason that you can't criticize it. That's the sole reason, because he was real. Now that it's been disputed, there's evidence against it. Now they say, oh, it's just a video game. Who cares? Why are you talking about it? Are you a racist? What are you doing? But that was your whole argument, that he was real. It's not racist to just want to play as an Asian Japanese person in an Assassin's Creed set in medieval Japan. It's ridiculous. We are not here in this community to debate on historical record. Most of us understand as fans that while these games provide us a great look into what historical settings could have felt like and have fun comparing them to actual record, we do not chase accuracy within this franchise and primarily play for other reasons. Sure, most of us don't play Assassin's Creed for historical accuracy, but this was your argument originally. You were the ones pushing it, that he was real and that's why he had to be in there. And you're racist if you don't agree. Everyone was just saying, we don't need this. We just want to play an Assassin's Creed where we're playing as the typical Japanese samurai. And if Ubisoft wanted to make a game that was set in a country or a period in history where there were a lot of black people, for instance, then people would have been okay with it. It's Ubisoft who weren't, because their metrics probably told them, oh, we won't make enough money from whatever that setting is, because our spreadsheets tell us. But people do want something set in feudal Japan, medieval Japan. So we'll go with that, and we'll just shoehorn Yusuke in there because it ticks all of the right boxes. That's where we're basically at. These people, they know that they're wrong, so now they resort to, we're banning you if you even try and speak about it. It's almost worse than that, because you can go on the Assassin's Creed sub, and you can talk for many walls of text about how Yusuke is a samurai. You can make posts saying that he definitely is a samurai. I love this. I love how historically accurate Assassin's Creed is. If you do that, the mods will give you the A-OK, the thumbs up. That's all fine. But if you say anything about him not being a samurai now, you will get banned. They literally say that at the end here. Any further comments attempting to dispute Yusuke's societal status, disparages inclusion in game, or containing statements bordering on concerning trolling for historical accuracy will be swiftly removed and met with a ban. This is peak Reddit. This controversy, I almost hope to hear nothing else about it. I'm sick of Assassin's Creed. I'm sick of Ubisoft. Very sick of Reddit. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.